let's just get right to it. The era of stable, predictable management, yeah, that's officially over. If you're still relying on the playbooks from the last decade to run your business today, well, honestly, you're already falling behind. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're skipping the basic introductions and cutting straight through all the corporate noise to find the exact, actionable, strategic signals you need for enterprise survival. We're going to break down exactly how to transform your organization in a landscape that's pretty much defined by constant disruption. So, let's dive in. Here's our agenda for today, covering the 5 critical leaps your organization needs to make. 1. The VUCA disruption threat. 2. The enterprise mortality trap. 3. The new management playbook. 4. Building core tech DNA. And finally, 5. Forging an entrepreneurial culture. Okay, starting with Section 1, the VUCA disruption threat.
Look, we have to stop treating current market conditions like they're just a temporary storm we can weather. This is an ongoing systemic reality. We call it VUCA. That stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. The legacy management structures that were built for stability and risk mitigation, they absolutely will not work here. To actually survive, modern leaders have to deploy an inverted VUCA approach. What does that mean? It means countering volatility with vision, uncertainty with understanding, complexity with clarity, and ambiguity with agility. It's a complete mindset shift.
So what are the macroeconomic forces driving all this complexity? Well, we're seeing totally unprecedented tech disruption, right? Everything from AI to blockchain. Plus, there's a massive wealth shift happening from west to east, which is creating these fierce new competitors out of places like China, India, and Brazil. But you know what the clearest signal is in all this noise? It's the shrinking business and product cycles. Take the Indian IT industry, for example. I mean, they literally created the global outsourcing model. But today, they're being forced to completely reinvent themselves because the business cycles that used to take years are now taking months. In this environment, you're either the hunter or you very quickly become the hunted. Let's ground this in some hard data. 91%. That is the percentage of consumers today who demand highly relevant, personalized offers. Digital transparency is completely flipping pricing and customer loyalty on its head. And this is exactly where AI tools and data analytics transition from just being corporate buzzwords to absolute survival mechanisms. They aren't just for automating workflows to save a few bucks. They are the core strategic lever for generating the exact understanding we need in our inverted VUCA model to actually meet that 91% expectation. Moving right along to Section 2. The enterprise mortality trap. In a VUCA world, doing exactly what made you successful in the past is exactly what's going to kill you today. The innovator's dilemma is very, very real. If we look at this through a scenario-based lens, executives basically face 2 distinct paths, and both have massive existential traps. On path A, you have traditional legacy giants, think Sears or JCPenney. They fail because of sheer inertia, a hyper-risk-averse culture, and a profound lack of technological DNA. But then, on path B, you have these new-age startups. Sure, they scale incredibly fast, but they often fail due to weak foundational capabilities. They just lack the HR, finance, and cultural resilience to survive the long term. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. If you can navigate that ambiguity, if you can build long-term stability while still staying agile, you can create breakthrough shareholder value. The companies that master those inverted VUCA principles, companies like Facebook, Uber, Airbnb, and Tesla globally, or Flipkart and Paytm in India, they don't just survive disruption. They literally weaponize it to build entirely new industries. That brings us to Section 3, the new management playbook. To make the leap from traditional risk management to high-speed execution, you have to accept a hard truth. Historical trends are now completely useless for predicting how the market will evolve. You can't just pull up a spreadsheet from 2019 to plan your strategy for 2025. It doesn't work. Instead, you have to actively shape the future. You need to simplify your organizational structures so you can act faster and transform your enterprise into an open learning organization. In this world, strategy really lies in how well you can connect the dots. I love this quote from Steve Jobs. Those who are crazy enough to believe that they can change the world are the ones who actually do so. The core strategic lever here is pure audacity. You absolutely must be willing to innovate and, frankly, cannibalize your own legacy systems, your processes, even your most profitable products right now, before your competitors do it for you. So, practically speaking, how on earth do you strategize for the unknown? You adopt a radically different execution cycle. Strategy is no longer something cast in stone in some stuffy boardroom. It's an agile, iterative process. Step 1, execute rapidly. Just get some runs on the board. Step 2, fail fast and learn from it. And step 3, discover your actual strategy by looking backward at what actually worked. I know it sounds backwards, but you literally find your strategy in the execution, not the other way around. This also totally redefines our market approach. Those long, drawn-out feedback loops of the past, they're dead. You can't treat your customer like a distant client you send a survey to once a year. Technology now demands that we co-create with them as a partner. You have to leverage real individual data points, not just broad, clumsy market segmentation, to deliver real-time personalization. And to do all this, we need an entirely new operational paradigm. We have to trade complex risk management for raw, horizontal speed. We trade the illusion of perfection for simplicity. And we trade top-down hierarchical control for true team empowerment. Honestly, if your organizational chart still looks like a giant pyramid of permissions, you're moving way too slowly. Let's look at Section 4, Building Core Tech DNA. Okay, if you only take one strategic signal away from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Every single company has to become a technology company. Let me be absolutely definitive about this. Technology is no longer just a support function. It's not just the IT department down the hall fixing laptops when they crash. It has to be your core source of ideation, strategy, and competitive advantage, no matter what industry you're officially in. Building a strong tech DNA is the ultimate way to future-proof your operations. But fair warning, this is not a quick software fix. You can't just go buy a shiny new AI tool, plug it in, and call it a day. This is a deep, comprehensive cultural surgery. It requires the absolute blessing and sustained commitment from the very top of the C-suite to connect the business side and the technology side seamlessly. Which leads us perfectly into Section 5, Forging Entrepreneurial Culture.
That seamless technological connection, it requires a fundamental human transformation. You could have the best AI workflows on the planet, but if your human capital isn't wired for agility, you're going to fail. Leaders today need a seriously high tolerance for chaos and failure. You have to value brutal honesty and humility over traditional corporate hubris. And you have to master duality, which means having the ability to push for breakneck speed while still maintaining a thoughtful long-term vision. What got executives to their current positions of power absolutely will not get them through the next decade. They have to actively unlearn their old success habits. To survive all this, embracing continuous learning and open partnerships is non-negotiable. The boundary between a competitor and a partner is incredibly fluid right now. Leveraging the proprietary, tacit knowledge you have inside your firm while simultaneously building boundaryless, global partnerships outside of it is mandatory. No enterprise is going to win the VUCA world entirely on its own. Transforming your enterprise to win in a volatile, complex world is an enormous opportunity, but like we said, it requires deep organizational surgery. The strategic signals are loud and clear. Build your tech DNA, simplify your execution, and fully embrace the agility of inverted VUCA. But the ultimate question remains, do you have the personal resilience and the tolerance for chaos actually required to lead this transformation? Think about that as you evaluate your own organizational playbook. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.